Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa alleges a drastic escalation of the cost of the project from $80 million to $250 million. We'll bring you some international news as well, as the United Nations warns the crisis in Niger could significantly worsen food insecurity in the country. You're welcome to the broadcast. My name is Noble Crosby, and a reminder that we're live also on all our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana Plus on DSTV channel 279. Let's settle for the details of the stories as the defense chiefs from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, are meeting in Accra to discuss preparations for any eventual military intervention in Niger following the coup that ousted the democratically elected president weeks ago. A deadline from ECOWAS for the junta to reinstate President Mohamed Bazoum passed a week ago without any sign of the junta complying. The mutinous soldiers have also failed to release President Mohamed Bazoum from house arrest with his wife and son in the capital, Niamey. Now, this is the first meeting since ECOWAS last week ordered the deployment of a standby force to restore constitutional rule in Niger. It remains unclear, however, if or when ECOWAS troops will intervene. Experts have said any force could take weeks or months to prepare. Our International Affairs Desk is monitoring the meeting, and Martin Asididat is bringing us the latest from this very important meeting.
On ensuring that the junta in Niger is removed. It looks as though all the calls by civil society bodies and security analysts asking that they reconsider the military intervention has fallen on deaf ears. So from the indications and the preliminary conversation that has gone on so far, which is the first day of a two-day meeting, the ambassador, who is the Commissioner for Peace, Security and Politics under ECOWAS, that's Commissioner Abdel Fattah Musa, reiterated the point that at all costs, the junta in Niger will be removed and the country will be returned to democratic rule. He goes on to say that from the first day that this coup started, they've tried to engage the coup leaders. However, and these are his words, they are playing cat and mouse games with the ECOWAS Commission. Also, they are pretending to be willing to speak. You'd recall that when Abdul Salam, the former president of Nigeria, led a delegation to go there, they gave indications that they were willing to speak. But from all the information they have gathered in terms of ECOWAS, it is always a false alarm. Anytime they attempt to go and speak to these coup leaders, they turn a deaf. In fact, they don't even allow them into the country. That's what he says. And when the AU, the UN, and the ECOWAS delegation were headed into Niger, they were only met at the airport. Some were not even allowed to come into the country. So the diplomacy that many are calling for to use instead of a military action, all of that seemed to be not working in terms of what they intend to do. So as it stands now, this meeting is to draw up a strategy on when exactly to deploy, what date, what time. Some critical questions have been asked. For instance, how many troops are the standby force of ECOWAS that will be deployed? He says that is a strategic reason that they are not going to be giving answers to. It's a question that they would only answer after they are able to conclude the meeting. The other question, what logistics, which country is providing what? How much is Ghana, for instance, or the other ECOWAS member countries given? He also says they are not going to be given that kind of information as of now. So it looks as though it's early days yet, but from all what we know at the moment, it is definitely going to be a military intervention in Niger. He also says that diplomacy is still on the table. They've not taken that one out, but looking at the posturing of the coup plotters in Niger, the coup leaders in Niger, they need to use force to ensure that they get this issue through. The concern he raised about, for instance, what exactly is the strategy? What date, what time are they likely to deploy these soldiers? He says that it's very likely that when this meeting concludes, that's when they can come up with the specific answers to some of these questions. The Chief of Defense Staff of Nigeria also spoke. The Chief of Defense Staff of Ghana also spoke. It was quite telling, the number of officers that came, the number of representatives from the various countries that came for the meeting. Clearly, Niger was out of the meeting, Burkina Faso was out, Mali was out, and these are countries that have experienced coups, so they are on suspension. And he says that of the countries that are represented there, they are optimistic that they will all be willing and give the troops or the number of soldiers and logistics that are needed to undertake this operation. We are waiting to hear from them, especially that will be on the second day when they'll come up with the specific strategies of when and how they intend to undertake this surgical removal of the coup plotters in Niger. They say the citizens are asking for something more than the leaders who are currently in charge. They have spoken against this strategy of coup leaders taking over, but he's optimistic. That's Abdel Fattah Musa is saying that they are very sure that these coup issues that are arising and becoming a threat to the ECOWAS sub-region will be nipped in the bud following today's meeting and going forward for the ECOWAS member states. From the Burma camp here in Accra, Martin Asiedu Date. Back to you in the studio.
Well, that was my colleague Martin Asiedu Date updating us on the happenings of the defense chiefs in the ECOWAS sub-region, the meeting here in the capital, Accra. To some other subjects this afternoon, the Ghana Health Service has expressed concerns over the impact of brain drain on Ghana's health sector. George Queening covered that event. He's joining us for some updates. George, thank you so much for your time with us on the program. Did the Director General, Dr. Patrick Kumabuaji, announce measures to stem the tide of brain drain in the health sector? We're trying to reach my colleague George Queening from a presser where the Director General of the Ghana Health Service has been raising a lot of concerns over the impact of brain drain in the country's health sector, how the nation is being deprived of some very important medical resources. George, if you can hear me now, what I'm asking is, we know this phenomenon has been going on for quite a while. Has the Director General offered or preferred some solutions to this?
Okay, so
we'll try and reconnect with George Queening shortly. But in the meantime, the Member of Parliament for North Tongue, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, has alleged a drastic escalation of the cost of the new Bank of Ghana headquarters from the initial projected cost of $80 million to a staggering $250 million at present. According to the ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament, there are concerns over procurement irregularities as well.
I have discovered is that the project started at a cost of $81 million. I mean, it's just like the National Cathedral starting at $100 million and is now in excess of $400 million. When the tender process began, the procurement process began in January of 2020, the cost of the building was supposed to be $81 million. That's what was agreed. Shockingly, between January and September, will you believe that the project shot up to $121 million? They added about $40 million to it. Now, what is shocking is that this is a dollar-denominated project, not cedis, where you can say that, okay, because of inflation, because of depreciation of the currency, this kind of wide variations occur when it's a cedi contract. If you thought that a movement from 81 to 121 million is bad enough, as we speak, from my insiders who have shared documents with me, they are preparing another variation, which is in excess of $250 million. Absolutely incredible. And what is also emerging from the documents I have put out, you'll notice that instead of Bank of Ghana using a full competitive tender process, which will have allowed for value for money, what they did was to do restricted tendering. So a very selective process where they just called 5 companies. It's not clear the criteria used. It's like people just calling their friends, cronies, to just come and participate in this bid. Then what is also mind-boggling is that this procurement process began during COVID. Can you believe it? When we were told that government is suspending all other projects, it turns out that they were busily putting together this rigged deal. Then what is also shocking is that we have discovered that the project management aspect of this contract was also so. So it even raises questions about how the PPA itself is conducting its affairs. You begin to see why the Bank of Ghana has been run aground.
Well, the Boko Central Member of Parliament, Mahama Yarga, is also requesting information from the Bank of Ghana on the cost of the new head office building under construction at Ridge. The legislator is also seeking information about the land and how much it costs. Let's talk about what exactly his concerns are and what he's demanding that the Bank of Ghana provides answers for, and then you'll see that on your screen shortly. So he's asking the processes involved in the procurement. He's asking for the names of the consultants and project management. That has also been corroborated by the North Tom Member of Parliament. There's also a concern from Mahama Yarga about the financial arrangement of the entire project. He also wants to know the cost, the scope of work, bill of quantities, and contract start and completion dates. So some specific timelines he's demanding them, and he's asking how the land was procured. Now, for Okudzeto Ablakwa, he's saying that there are some procurement irregularities in the entire process, from sole sourcing arrangement to restricted tendering arrangement and all of that. These are concerns Okudzeto Ablakwa is raising. Also, for Mahama Yarga, he's concerned about how that land was procured. Now, government has received a huge backlash for implementing the sports betting tax. But for flag bearer aspirant of the new Patriotic Party, Kennedy Agyapong, government should have allocated more than 10% of earnings, describing betting as a baseless venture for the youth. Judith Chitado has more in this report.
The Ghana taxman has been busy this week, taken as they have in the last few years from every available revenue source. So this week, a number of new taxes kicked in. But out of these, 2 in particular stood out. The gaming tax, which seeks to deduct 10% from winnings on lotteries and bets, and the excise duty, which imposes a 20% tax on sweetened beverages. Well, there are no prices for guessing which one has caused the most furor.
What I like, I can't shop maybe 100 cedi. Well, you can't say 10 cedi for topper. What you want to show me? That one, me I not go like. Sake of that, me I go show the stake bets.
But is the new tax that bad? And is there a silver lining in it? Presidential aspirant Kennedy Agyapong thinks there is.
It's in order, and it should have been more. Betting is not anything good for your future. That is why it should be punitive, to discourage the young men and women coming up to take their destiny into their own hands instead of spending time on games and all those things.
And many agree, including organizations who have been at the forefront of battling betting addictions. Agyapong agrees, however, that the lure of betting is way too strong, especially in the current economy.
The challenge of the youth today is employment. We have many of you that have completed high school, university, first degree, masters, and they all don't have jobs and stay home. So my focus on the youth is to create job opportunities for them. Because if we don't create opportunities for the youth of this country, the future of Ghana is bleak.
So, the agitation goes on, and the youth wing of the National Democratic Congress has become the latest body to demand its withdrawal. They claim that through agitations, protests, advocacy, and civic engagements, they will get the tax abandoned. They also claim that they will picket, occupy Parliament, and start unconventional lawful agitations. Judith Awachutando, TV3 News.
Back to an earlier story and engage with my colleague George Queening as the Ghana Health Service is expressing concerns over the impact of brain drain on Ghana's health sector. George Queening is covering that event. He's joining us now for some updates. George, thank you for joining us. If you can hear me now, what I'm asking for measures that the Minister or the Director General, Dr. Patrick Kumar-Boakye, offered to stem the tide of brain drain in the Ghanaian health sector. Unfortunately, we do not have a clearer connection to George Queening at the moment. To try and rework the lines and bring you the conversation with George Queening over the concerns of the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumar-Boakye, on brain drain. You're watching Midday Live on TV3. My name is Noble Crosby, and we're back with more stories after the break. Stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint. As compared to other paint brands on the market, we take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Am I not forgetting something?
Yes, obviously. Flora Mini. Thank you.
Can I use the washroom, please?
Sure. Flora disposable handkerchief.
You obviously aren't using Flora tissues, my dear, because the Flora tissues, they are soft and easy on the skin and they leave no particles. Are you okay? Do you want to use the washroom?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, broke uncle. I will tell Auntie.
Fracture me. I just love how it feels.
This water pouring on you from the rooftop signifies that in this life, rain shall fall on you, but nothing shall happen to you.
It's a week of fashion and glam on Ghana's Most Beautiful. This week, our beautiful contestants will grace the runway, showcasing exquisite outfits crafted by talented designers and featuring the latest collections from GTP. Get ready to be dazzled as they bring elegance, charm, and a touch of Ghanaian culture to the fashion world. It's a night of style, sophistication, and celebration, where fashion meets tradition and a breathtaking display of creativity and beauty. Exclusively on TV3 at 8 p.m. this Sunday. It's an eviction week and not less than 2 contestants will be evicted. To save your contestant from eviction, vote by dialing *713*13# or download the TV3 reality app to vote. GMB 2023, Ghana's beauty, Africa's pride.
GMB 2023 is sponsored by Gino Tomato Mix, GTP, Techno Camon 20 Series, AT, Pepsodent Charcoal and Lemon Infused Formula and Pepsodent Natural Herbal Formula, Geisha Moringa and Geisha Black Soup, Key Soap, Bell Pack Tissues, Sankofa Natural Spices, Vitamilk, Deluxe Acrylic Paint, Nescofa Blood Tonic, Heaven Black Mosquito Spray and Coil, Enapa Foods, Freedom from Casapreco, Frutelli Calipo, Duffy's Health and Beauty, Obuasi Bitters, Nubuna Womwankasa, Dragnet, Shalatem, Top Choco, Global Wings Travel and Tour.
Makeup was done by House of Tara.
They came, they saw, and are set to conquer. Ghana's Strongest 2023 is at an end, and 4 men will compete for the title in the grand finale. Who wins this year's Ghana's Strongest? Will it be Godfred Akobila with 7 appearances, Bright Apia, the SWAT man, Takrada's finest, Ebenezer Amos, or the new man, Jeffrey Ekufu? Don't miss this epic finale live on TV3 at the Obra Sports on Sunday, 20th August at 2 p.m. Ghana's Strongest, the power to do.
Catch Ghana's Strongest this Sunday only on TV3. Ghana's Strongest is powered by Gasem, the nation builder. Brought to you by Mixi Choco, Channel Hot,
Deluxy Acrylic Paint,
Drugnet.
The age-old rivalry that senior high schools engage in is still present within alumni. The battle for bragging rights to a particular endeavor remains even after school. If your school can cook, it means your school is here. If your school can boast of good culinary masterminds, this right here is the perfect platform to showcase that skill set. Alumni have met and they have chosen representatives to take up the task of preparing extraordinary dishes to bring victory to their respective schools.
Tell me what you're cooking.
Week in, week out, these schools will mount these workstations in a bid to buy your nutritional affinity to them. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare your taste buds and fasten your aprons. These culinary experts are set to battle for the enviable crown of being tagged Lords of the Kitchen. This is Kitchen Wars Season 2.
Kitchen Wars Season 2, Sundays at 5 p.m. on TV3. Don't miss it.
Sponsored by Gino Tomato Mix.
And Napa Foods. Say Napa. Enye ono soko.
PGL.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Now, an Accra High Court is expected to determine an application from the Office of the Special Prosecutor for the extension on the freeze of the assets and account of former Sanitation Minister Cecilia Abena Dapa. My colleague, Lord Edward Sare, was in court today. And let's join him for updates on the latest development concerning the application for extension. Lord, thank you for joining us on the program. Good afternoon to you. What happened in court today?
Right, so Crosby, the hearing was essentially a virtual one because of the legal vacation, and so both parties, being at the Office of the Special Prosecutor and counsel for the former Sanitation Minister, had to join via a Zoom link and make their arguments. But from the Office of the Special Prosecutor, they noted that the monies which were found in the home of the former Sanitation Minister, the former Sanitation Minister himself could not justify the amount, which was the $590,000 and 2.730 million Ghana cedis. And so the office described this as tainted and was praying the court to extend the freeze on the bank account as well as her assets, although they couldn't really find whether this really belonged to her. Now, lawyer for Cecilia Dapa also noted that the Office of the Special Prosecutor was essentially breaching its powers based on misrepresentation of facts and a resultant media frenzy of the entire case since it was reported. Now, the judge asked the Office of the Special Prosecutor how come the former Sanitation Minister was the only one who was arrested and is being investigated since the money was found in her matrimonial home. At this juncture, the Office of the Special Prosecutor told the court that she wasn't the only one who had been arrested, but essentially her husband was also arrested, that both of them had not been charged and had been put on bail. So the case has essentially been adjourned to August 31 for the determination of the application to extend the freeze of accounts and assets of the former sensation Mr. Suliat.
Right. Lord, thank you so much. So with this latest development from the application that the Office of the Special Prosecutor was seeking, what, per the extension that the judge gave, or the ruling that the judge gave on the adjournment of the case, what was the reaction of the prosecution and the defense?
Well, both parties can only wait for the outcome because at this juncture you can't really tell. The lawyer for Suliat made some strong cases objecting what the Office of the Special Prosecutor had raised. Among other things, she had noted that the Special Prosecutor filed the extension after the 7 days had elapsed and some other developments. And so it remains to be seen how this will play out in the long end.
Lord, thank you so much. Lord Edu Asare is our court correspondent there. To an earlier story where the ECOWAS Commissioner for Political Peace and Security, Ambassador Abdel Fattah Musa, says constitutional rule will be restored in Niger at all costs, indicating that the regional bloc must put an end to the increasing spate of coups in the West African sub-region. Speaking at the opening of a day-long meeting of the Chiefs of Defense Staff of ECOWAS member states in Accra, he said the reasons given by the coup leaders in Niger are not justified.
We say no to military intervention. That is the issue. And the fundamental issue is that ECOWAS is protecting its protocols. Ironically, when ECOWAS deployed the standby force to the Gambia to make sure that a president who had lost elections vacated the presidency, nobody made noise. Today, they are saying, why are you intervening in Niger? You know, so serious interests are at stake here. But that is not going to divert ECOWAS' attention. We just want to tell them that and inform them about the resolve of the ECOWAS heads of state and government to make sure that by all means available, constitutional order will be restored in the country. And this meeting today bears testimony to that. And people are telling us, where are we going to get the resources? So ECOWAS is being teleguided by the West, it is being teleguided by France, it is being teleguided by anybody. But what they forget is that ECOWAS is a rules-based organization. We have our protocols, we have our norms, and we are ready to protect them. That's why the heads of state are saying, if push comes to shove, we are going into Niger with our own contingent-owned equipment. We are going with our own resources and to make sure that we restore constitutional order.
You're still watching Midday Live on TV3. We're live too on all our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana Plus on DSTV channel 279. We have more stories for you, plus the latest in business, sport, entertainment and international news all coming to you after this break. Please stay with us.
Some cool $2,000. Okay. Here to Win game show is exactly what you need. It's the only game show where you are already rich before you begin to pay. Every week, 2 lucky people stand the chance of winning money. All you have to do is go through some quizzes and fun games. Somebody from Peru is called Perusian. Whatever you say, you have to be proud because your family people are watching you. Somebody from Madagascar is called Malagasy. Correct! Okay, let's go. It's you that will tell me let's go. You are not even winning. Okay.
Hold the stand and jump to basket.
Amazing.
Jump, go.
Jump, go. Ayikwe Ama. Be proud. Okay. First of all, is Ayikwe supposed to be a man or a woman? Put it on your forehead. Ayikwe. Be a part of this game show right here on TV3 and take home some cash. Come join us on Here to Win game show where you win it all. Hey, yeah, mama. Hey, mama. Hey, yeah, mama. Hey, mama. Here to Win.
Here to Win shows Saturdays at 8 p.m. on TV3. Brought to you by Kill It Insecticide Spray.
They came, they saw, and are set to conquer. Ghana's Strongest 2023 is at an end, and 4 men will compete for the title in the grand finale. Who wins this year's Ghana's Strongest? Will it be Godfred Akobila with 7 appearances, Bright Appiah the Swatman, Takrada's finest Ebenezer Amos, or the new man Jeffrey Ekufu? Don't miss this epic finale live on TV3 at the Obra Sports on Sunday, 20th August at 2 p.m. Ghana's Strongest, the power to do.
Catch Ghana's Strongest this Sunday only on TV3. Ghana's Strongest is powered by Gasem, the nation builder. Brought to you by Mixi Choco, Channel Hot,
Deluxy Acrylic Paint,
Drugnet.
The age-old rivalry that senior high schools engage in is still present within alumni. The battle for bragging rights to a particular endeavor remains even after school. If your school can cook, it means your school is here. If your school can boast of good culinary masterminds, this right here is the perfect platform to showcase that skill set. Alumni have met and they have chosen representatives to take up the task of preparing extraordinary dishes to bring victory to their respective schools.
Tell me what you're cooking.
Week in, week out, these schools will mount these workstations in a bid to buy your nutritional affinity to them. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare your taste buds and fasten your aprons. These culinary experts are set to battle for the enviable crown of being tagged Lords of the Kitchen. This is Kitchen Wars Season 2.
Kitchen Wars Season 2, Sundays at 5 p.m. on TV3. Don't miss it.
Sponsored by Gino Tomato Mix.
And Napa Foods. Say Napa. Enye ono soko.
PGL.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Now, students of the Accra College of Education have expressed their displeasure with questions set for their end-of-semester examination. Lecturers and the school were unable to complete the course outline for the semester due to SETAC strike. Most of the students say they were unable to answer questions they weren't taught.
For the uptake time, the Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, SETAC, has embarked on numerous industrial strikes, with the latest which began on August 1, 2023, due to the government's failure to implement the negotiated conditions of service for their members. It's been 17 days after the strike was initiated, and just as you can see here at the Accra College of Education, students are seriously participating in their end-of-semester examination, as well as the other 45 public colleges of education in the country, while being supervised by non-teaching staff. Mind you, there were no revision for these students, and their course outline for the semester was not completed due to the strike. So it means if a student does not study ahead of what their lecturer teaches them, they will be found wanting. But either ways, they are here doing their best, as you can see, while they write their examination. I have also been told that the questions they're answering are questions set by the University of Ghana. But let's speak to some of the students to know how the examination went.
if the lecturers were around to teach us some of the things, it would have been way better, because I found myself not understanding most of the concepts at the end of the course outline.
Oh, I'm not that much impressed because we're not able to complete our course outline. And due to this, I find it difficult in answering much of the questions because pertaining to learning as a process, we should get an understanding from the teachers as well, but we didn't get. So I try solving my best.
If they were to be around, they would have helped us with some of how to answer the questions and then how to maybe, I think answering the questions were the problems because the way I might understand the question might be different from how they are expecting me to put it. So I think they would have taken us through all that.
The examination was difficult because some of the questions that we did in class and others too, we didn't do in class, so it didn't go down well.
I think I could have done better if the lecturers were around. I think they could have taken us through some of the past questions. They could also guided us through how to be able to answer some of the questions. And I think it would have actually impacted positively upon my performance.
The students are clearly displeased, but CTAC remains steadfast in a strike until the government fulfills the stipulated conditions of service, according to the association's national president, Prince Obeng Hema. CTAC received an invitation from the National Labour Commission, NLC, for a hearing on the ongoing strike on August 16, 2023, which they honored. Following the hearing, the NLC declared that CTAC strike is legal and directed the government to immediately implement the arbitral award orders. According to NLC's directive, the government must implement all the orders awarded on 2nd May 2023 before any action can be taken to call off the strike by CTAC. The government was given 2 days to show action. This implies that CTAC strike will continue until the government demonstrates tangible evidence of implementing the awarded orders. Godwin Asidiba, TV3 News. Accra.
Now, the Electoral Commission is briefing the media on the upcoming district-level elections. Let's engage my colleague Evelyn Tengma, who is at the office of the Electoral Commission. Now, Evelyn, thank you for joining us on the program. What is the latest? What are they announcing?
Country. So, the Electoral Commissioner, the chairperson, Madam Jane Mensah, had just indicated that the district-level election will be held on the 19th of December this year, and the election is going to take place in 6,262 electoral areas and with 38,622 polling stations nationwide. So that is the latest news here, but she was not able to give details of the elections. She's saying that details of that will be made to the public soon. We are going to ask her questions though. She just finished her presentation, and we'll try to find out when the Electoral Commission will bring out all these details to the public. Because you know that the district level elections have delayed quite for some time now, and that is one thing that stakeholders wanted to the Electoral Commission to make known to the public. And now we are told that it's on the 19th of December.
Evelyn, thank you so much. We'll get back to you for some more details on the latest announcement coming from the outfit of the Electoral Commission there. Midday Live returns with the latest in business news after this. Let's join Manu Afo for the latest in business news. Over to you, Manu.
Thank you, Crosby. Welcome again to the business segment. My name is Manu Afo. We'll start off with Ghana's fiscal deficit of 9.0% of gross domestic product, which was the highest in West Africa in 2022. The African Development Bank West African 2023 Economic Outlook report has revealed. According to the report, the fiscal deficit to GDP fell by 0.2% from 9.2% in 2021. The following three Business Desk reports has more. Ghana's fiscal deficit averaged 5.8% of GDP between 2014 and 2020. This placed it as second highest in the ECOWAS region. In 2021, fiscal deficits increased in all countries in the region except Guinea, where it declined by 0.4, and Liberia 2.1 percentage points, the report stated. The increase in fiscal deficit, it said, was however the largest in Ghana, where it increased to 9.2% of GDP in 2021 from an average of 5.8% in 2014 to 2020, attributable to underperformance in domestic revenue despite a slowdown in COVID-19 related health expenditure. In this period, there was low revenue and high expenditure, whilst the debt level rose astronomically due to high borrowings and exchange rates depreciation. Meanwhile, the situation appears to be improving, with provisional data on budget execution for the period January to May 2023 indicating an overall broad cash deficit of 1.8% of GDP, against the programmed budget's target of 4% of GDP. In more stories, the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC, has reiterated its stance that the GNPC should deposit all proceeds made through Jubilee Oil Holding Limited into the Petroleum Holding Fund. Addressing the media, chairperson of PIAC, Professor Kwame Adum-Frimpong, said this will be in accordance with the Petroleum Revenue Management Act.
We met Minister of Finance, where indirectly Minister of Finance also supporting the idea, because they think when the money comes in, it's going to increase the resources of the. But at times it's difficult to link the two together, because GNPC is under Ministry of Finance. So we are agitating that any money from GOHL should come into the system before allocation. No, our money goes to Bank of Ghana before allocations are made.
Now, away from that, some oil marketing companies have increased prices of petroleum products at the pumps. Total Energies has increased the price of petrol to 13 cedis 50 pesos per litre from 12 cedis 45 pesos per litre at the beginning of the month. Diesel is also going for 13 cedis 90 pesos per litre from the previous price of 12 cedis 45 pesos per litre. GOIL has also increased prices of petrol to 13 cedis 50 pesos and diesel to 13 cedis 90 pesos per litre. The rest of the OMCs are expected to also adjust prices today. Earlier, the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers announced that fuel prices will see an increase of about 5.7% in the second pricing window of August. In more business stories, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture says it's confident that the Phase 2 of the government's flagship Planting for Food and Jobs program will help drastically tame food inflation in the country. Food inflation stood at a concerning 55% last month, which was an increase from 54.2% in June 2023. A Deputy Sector Minister, Yao Frimpong Ado, stated that the new design of PFJ will not only boost food production, but also tackle post-harvest losses.
On our rounds in the hinterland, the growing areas, we have foodstuffs there. But I come to the cities and it's a problem. So these are the bottlenecks that we are tackling. The food inflation started from that point, and it has not subsided. In fact, the recent one is even gone up, and it's pushed the national inflation also up. We've accepted the challenge. I mean, it's a major challenge because there are several factors that bring about these high challenging figures. So we are working on our part. Ours is to increase production. And the modules that we have picked, we are seriously going to increase production. How to take care of the excess production has been our bane. So aggregators, off-takers that we are introducing to the system, and the warehousing, the silo system, these are the things that we are doing to stabilize the situation. And you encourage maybe a better transportation system to bring the foodstuffs into the cities, just to bring the prices down.
And that's how we wrap up the business segment on Midday Live. My name is Menua Afo. Stay with us. We'll bring you sports news up next.
They came, they saw, and are set to conquer. Ghana's Strongest 2023 is at an end, and 4 men will compete for the title in the grand finale. Who wins this year's Ghana's Strongest? Will it be Godfred Akobila with 7 appearances, Bright Apia, the Swatman, Takrada's finest, Ebenezer Amos, or the new man, Jeffrey Ekufu? Don't miss this epic finale live on TV3 at the Obra Sports on Sunday, 20th August at 2 p.m. Ghana's Strongest, the power to do.
Catch Ghana's Strongest this Sunday only on TV3. Ghana's Strongest is powered by Gasem, the nation builder. Brought to you by Mixi Choco, Channel Hot,
Deluxy Acrylic Paint,
Drugnet.
Are you ready to win solid cash every day with Cash Out? Be a proud winner of lots of cash simply by watching or listening to any of Media General stations. That's right, you are being rewarded for your loyalty. Tune in to all Media General brands. TV3, 3FM 92.7, Onia TV, Onia FM 95.1, all in Accra, Akuma FM 87.9 in Kumasi, and Connect FM 97.1 in Takrady. To enter the Cash Out raffle on your favorite Media General station, just dial *439#. Follow the prompt and pick your favorite platform to enter. Voila! You are now eligible to become one of the 10 lucky winners of a cool cash prize. Remember, this is every day, all day on your favorite Media General station. Cash out and win big! This is in partnership with Radio Entertainment Limited. This promo is regulated by the National Lottery Authority on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply.
No, stop it, don't do it. Please stop it. No. I poisoned him.
I'm a drug addict.
The difference between a sinner and a saint is that the saint has a past and the sinner a future. There is a shoulder that does not discriminate, an ear that listens without a mouth, and a heart that listens with empathy. Here on Confessions, we believe that everyone has a story, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And together with my seasoned guest, we make the conversation relevant for our lives today and the lessons therein. Confessions, the safe haven for all your secrets.
Confessions shows on Saturdays at 9:30 p.m. on TV3.
Brought to you by
MTN.
It wasn't always this easy. When I was 26, I got my first chance to perform a surgery.
Can I have a selfie? Thank you so much.
So I was holding the scalpel. My hands were trembling.
Excuse me, ma'am. Can I have your autograph, please? Sorry, sir.
Yes, go on.
Well then, as soon as the senior surgeon entered the OT, Yes, Dr. Matur. I'll be there in 30 minutes. It's an important surgery. Rain check?
Sure.
They are in love, but will they be able to adjust?
Eternal Love shows Tuesdays to Fridays at 6 p.m. only on TV3.
Brought to you by Out Multipurpose Insecticide Spray and Quell.
Welcome back to the Bulletin. Sports news is up next. Yuri Kwampofo is bringing us the latest. There's some unfortunate news for Chelsea, if you like. A transfer target is not making it to the team.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like they've missed out on Michael Olise, and we'll bring you more details in the bulletin. Thank you very much. Let's head to our stories for today, where Ghanaian side Dreams FC have departed for Conakry, Guinea for the first leg of their Total Energies CAF Confederations Cup preliminary round clash against Milo FC Dukankan. The contingent, led by Executive Council member Frederick Achi, is made up of 16 players, technical team and management staff. And they left Accra in the early hours of Thursday Both sides are making their first ever appearance in continental football, having excelled in their respective domestic competitions last season. This preliminary round first leg encounter will take place at the General Lansana Conte Stadium in Conakry on Saturday, August 19. Well, it's not been the best of mornings for Chelsea fans as the London club are set to miss out on a transfer for Michael Olise after he signed a new contract at Crystal Palace. Had agreed personal terms on a move to Stamford Bridge, and that Palace had accepted a 35 million fee for him. However, the move now appears to be off after it was announced that Olise had signed a new 4-year deal. In other news, Chelsea are waiting for results of a scan on club captain Reece James, who has suffered a fresh hamstring injury. The England international was appointed as the club's new skipper earlier this month following the summer departure of Cesar Azpilicueta. Now, James wore the armband last Sunday in the 1-1 draw against Liverpool, but was taken off during the closing stages due to tiredness, according to manager Mauricio Pochettino. Further tests have reviewed a hamstring strain, and Chelsea now face an anxious wait to discover the extent of the damage. To some more news here, where Manchester City added the UEFA Super Cup to their treble after they claimed last season with victory over Sevilla on penalties in Athens, Greece. Pep Guardiola's Champions League winners lost the Community Shield in Arsenal in a shootout, but saw their fortunes transformed when Sevilla's Nemanja Gudelj hit his effort to the bar after 9 successful penalties. Now, it set up a 10th finale that resulted in another piece of silverware being added to Guardiola's vast collection of 36 trophies in 15 years of management. After previous triumphs with Barcelona and Bayern Munich, Guardiola became the first coach to win the competition with 3 different clubs. To some athletics now, where Team Ghana have arrived in Budapest, Hungary, ahead of the 19th edition of the World Athletics Championships. 5 athletes are expected to represent the country at the Games after Safo Ansah and Rose Eboa were denied visas by the Hungarian embassy in Accra. The team spent the past week and a half in Paris fine-tuning preparations ahead of the championships, which kicks off this weekend. The 4x100 men's relay team includes Isaac Boitiu, Raymond French, Edwin Gadai, and Joseph Paul Amwa, who would also compete in the 200-meter event. Deborah Akwa will take part in the women's long jump for Ghana. A reminder that Ghana haven't won a medal at the World Athletics Championships in 18 years. Well, that's how we wrap up the sports segment here on Midday Live. My name is Oreko Ampofo. Up next is Entertainment with Noella.
Noella Donko is here for the latest entertainment. Noella, over to you.
All right, let's get into the details of the entertainment bulletin here on Midday Live. My name is Noella. Now, it was one of the popular comedy shows on TV back in the days. Now, both kids and adults enjoyed the stage performance displayed by the actors until it went off screens. The likes of Ejako Nkomode, Bishop Bobukala, Araba Stamp, among others, put up a hilarious performance. The show is back on Onya TV, and there's more on this report.
Misiaba kubi wachire haya. Wohemidi sa no sa bra ko hwegu. Se wo ho fe no agimi sa nam say. Don't try. Ko hwegu yemfa bra nka ho.
The golden days where families gathered every Saturday to enjoy rip-cracking comedy and drama on Keysop Concert Party is back. The show that popularized the likes of Ijako, Araba Stamp of Blessed Memory, Bobo Kala, and Komode among others has been a favorite of many for years. To relive the good old days, Keysop Concert Party is back on Onia TV.
Just will be able to meet Yammy. Ah, I wouldn't say, maybe for my was all for and make us.
Celebrating 60 years of being a Mansa Mboafo, Brand's manager Roger Adepui is excited about the partnership and wants everyone to tune in every Saturday and enjoy.
Now, 60 years herald a very important milestone in every brand's life, and we are excited that the concert party that took us to the pedestal that Keysop found itself is back, and is back with a big bang. And there is no other partnership that is as big as a platform like Onia TV. And ever since they've come into the media landscape, Obiehu, what they are capable of delivering. In fact, stay tuned. There are a lot of excitement. There are a lot of nice things that are coming from brand Key or Keysop, and then Onia TV. Keysop Concert Party is back. Onia Keysop Concert Party. Abedu, Minia.
Make a date for the all-new and exciting Onia Keysop Concert Party on Onia TV this and every Saturday at 7 p.m. for the best of laughter, fun, and entertainment.
Now, the sad news hitting us is the Ghanaian rapper, former Links Entertainment signee, and Dini Akrashi, known in popular circles as OJ Black, the Biggie Boy lover, has died. He passed away yesterday, according to close sources. However, the cause of his death is not publicly known. In 2016, he revealed in an interview that he almost died from a kidney-related disease. He survived a double kidney failure, which he attributed to binge drinking and smoking. He became a born-again Christian and resurfaced on the scene as an evangelist. Black was an actor known for his notable role in popular Ghanaian series Sun City. All our condolences to the family, and that's how we wrap up on the entertainment news segment here on Media Live. My name is Noella Donko. Up next is international news.
In international news, the United Nations has warned that the crisis in Niger could significantly worsen food insecurity in the impoverished country, urging humanitarian exemptions to sanctions and border closures to avert catastrophe. The UN Humanitarian Agency highlighted that even before Niger's democratically elected President Mohamed Bazoum was toppled in a coup last month, the country counted more than 3 million acutely food insecure people, and more than 7 million others who are considered to be moderately food insecure could see their situation worsening due to the unfolding crisis. It warned also that, citing a preliminary analysis from the World Food Programme, Bazoum, who is 63, was detained on July 26 by members of their presidential guard in the fifth coup to hit Niger since independence from France in 1960. That's our package for you this afternoon, but there's always more news on our website, 3news.com. My name is Noble Crosby, and on behalf of the entire production team, thank you so much for watching the bulletin. We'll see you again some other time. Good afternoon. Bye-bye.
This program is rated PG. It contains scenes of brief nudity, mild violence, and strong language. Parental guidance is advised.
I have given everything.